Today on Foxpro's Furtakers, we let the dogs out on desert coyotes. Abner and Big Al join legendary decoy dogger Keith West for a hunt in the Utah desert. At $50 a coyote, this game has a whole new meaning.
Hunting predators, it's challenging. To be successful, you have to outsmart them. In the hunt, it's fast-paced and fast action. It's why we live to be fur takers.
Predator hunting is catching on. Coyotes are thick, and the action is wild, but it's not all good. In some places, coyotes are wiping out fawns and calves, creating major problems. The state of Utah is taking a stance. You can hunt 365 days a year, and they pay you $50 a coyote to do it. They're calling it the Mule Deer Protection Act. Time for hunters to step up.
Mule deer populations have been going downhill steadily since the late 70s. There's a lot of controversy as to why the mule deer population is tanking. Most of it has to do with habitat loss. But there's also an influx of predators. Price of hides tanked. There was less people out trapping. More predators meant less deer. The state legislature, the Division of Wildlife, enacted a $50 bounty here in Utah. We're going out there and trying to take advantage of that. You know, some people don't like to hunt coyotes in the spring and summer because they're worried about these pups and the hides aren't prime. June is a good time of year to do predator control work on these coyotes because all the fawns are hitting the ground.
The reason why we're hunting here is that I spent a lot of time in the hills playing around, and I've seen too many dead fawns killed by coyote. When the fawns are little, the coyotes just run right into them and just wipe them out. Kill 13, 14 at a time and never eat them. Started to help out and help the deer herd.
The most difficult thing about hunting coyotes and predators right now is the temperatures. I mean, you're fighting hot, sunny days where you're gonna maybe get 2 or 3 stands in the morning if you're lucky, and maybe 1 or 2 in the evening. We're using decoy dogs, and it's definitely a different style of predator hunting.
Keith West is a buddy of mine from southern Utah. He's been decoying coyotes for the last 16 to 20 years. We take these decoy dogs in there, and these dogs literally go out there, pick a fight with these coyotes, and bring them back to you.
To do a lot of dogging, you have to go locate coyotes. And it's important to find out where the dens are at before you hunt them.
You kind of wonder why we're standing on the side of the road. Al has the Foxpro, and he's doing the siren and the coyote locator sounds. We're trying to get a response from these coyotes. You just got to cover a lot of ground. It's just like scouting if you were gonna coyote hunt an area that's new to you. We're just gonna keep headed down the road till we find a group that's hot.
I use a GPS, mark where the dens are at, and just keep going down the road.
What we were able to do is pinpoint them, know exactly where they're at. We get up there that next day. Let's make this Ruger famous today.
When I go in there, I want to go and get as close as I can, usually around 500 yards.
Yeah, right there. stand was really good. We snuck in here perfect, we were quiet. The dogs are going out after him right there. Oh, it's on, dude. It is on. When I heard that coyote do that challenge howl, and I knew it was on. I knew they were locked on, and I knew it was happening right there. I see him. Here comes the coyotes. I see him coming. He's the coyote. Right on their tail. I can't shoot. I can't get a shot. I was up as high as I could get. The coyote came in, stood right behind some sagebrush, and all I could see was ears, and I could see its nose when it would howl. She was just hollering at us. The dogs ticked her off. I couldn't get a crack at her. And I literally had no shot. They were standing behind this stuff right here.
Keith, that was pretty cool. Was that not, he was right there where that dog is right now. Screaming
Right
at
there,
us.
you did.
And all I had was a shotgun, and I just didn't want to push it past that 50-yard limit. That's what dogging can do. You get a coyote in your face.
We come close. Sometimes you just can't get the guns up when you want to, and the shots just don't happen when you need them to happen.
Your dogs are awesome, Keith.
It was fun. It was good.
That was good.
We're in southern Utah in Big Al Morris's backyard, and it's in June, and it's hot, and we're hunting coyotes with the decoy dog.
Coyotes are the most territorial animals on the planet. June's a good time to hunt them if you understand how to approach it.
This is God's truth, isn't it? That dog's name is Ruger, and the other one's Freebie, because he was free. So we got Ruger and Freebie, so here we go.
A week and a half ago, we come out here and was locating coyotes, and the whole valley was loaded with them around here and all the way through here. But we got 2 dens, probably about 400 yards off.
2 dens.
So I figured if the dogs could just get between them, we should have
It could get crazy.
We could have a lot of action.
Went to a spot where Keith said, you know, I've heard several coyotes here, a couple different packs.
You get by this tree, and I'll get by the left one.
And it was a great looking setup. It was a nice open area with a little bit of trees that we could cover up in. It's a territorial thing. These coyotes see the decoy dogs and they go into fight mode. They want those dogs off their turf, and they'll do anything they can to run them off.
Coyote, right here to the left. Here we go.
Can't get a shot. Nice shot. Wind's blowing this way, so he wasn't gonna get our wind. Al has a really quick trigger finger, so he doesn't wait around for anybody else from the stand to shoot. If he has a shot, he takes it.
No, I let him stop twice.
Good stand, I like that. Came in pretty.
Abner says I'm quick on the trigger. We like to tease each other. I really wanted him to get his first Utah coyote, so it bummed me out that I had to shoot that coyote. But hey, it's Utah. It ain't always easy, and we had fur down.
And when he stopped broadside, I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 2.
And this is not her first den. Look at these teeth right here. They're completely wore off.
Utah will give $50 for this coyote.
There's always been a little bounty in Utah for $20, but they upped it up to $50 to get more people out there to try to kill some of these coyotes off.
We went on out, made some more stands, ran into a dang buzzworm. I hate them rattlesnakes. They're dangerous for the dogs.
That's public enemy #1 right there for hunting summer coyotes. You gotta be watching where you're stepping.
Bog pods, just not for rifles.
Our dogs get bit every year. Their necks will swell up about the size of grapefruits, and got to stick them with a knife, drain them, and about a week later you can hunt them again.
Wasn't real aggressive, but he didn't really buzz at us either, so we did what we had to do with that snake, and we went on hunting.
We're hunting anywhere, 5 o'clock, right at daylight, when we get enough light to see, till about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then it gets so hot.
Well, hell, I'm going in too. The dogs get hot, the coyotes get hot, nobody wants to work, we get hot. It makes a fat guy sweat.
When it gets hot, the dogs just quit working and they have no interest. The coyotes don't come in no more, they don't even bark. They just lay underneath the sagebrush.
Still to come. Decoy Dog 101. Then, things get crazy in the desert.
Can coyotes control their litter size based on environmental factors? The number of pups per coyote certainly varies based on some environmental factors, the number one being food. But it's just not the population of mice or rabbits, there's other factors too. For example, what if there's 3 feet of snow on the ground, all the mice are warm and eating grass down below, but a coyote can't get to them. Food availability, not just food, is a big factor in determining the amount of pups per coyote. Physical fitness of most wild animals determines the number of offspring that are produced. A big food base, readily accessible, limited stress, more coyotes are going to fill that gap. Coyotes are the ultimate survivor, and this is one mechanism they use to be a good survivor.
The state legislature, the Division of Wildlife, enacted a $50 bounty here in Utah.
Coyote, right here to the left.
We're going out there and trying to take advantage of that, show people how to do it.
This is how you hunt with decoy dogs.
If you're going to be a successful decoyer using decoy dogs, you have to find the dens.
We use the siren, we use the coyote locator.
The coyotes breed in January. They have their babies and around April, May, but you want those coyotes to get out of the dens. And it usually takes them to June and July before the coyote puppies get out of the dens and they start getting a little bit vocal. I'm gonna find a den and I'm gonna hear the puppies. I'm gonna mark it on GPS where I know exactly where it is. If you get into them, you go about every 2 miles and you just keep sirening, because sometimes those coyotes like to hang around in groups and they stay about 1 mile or 2 miles apart.
Ideally, you find 3 dens, work 2 of them in the morning, 1 of them in the afternoon.
Those adult coyotes are going to be very territorial, very protective of those pups. So you have a lot of pups in an area, that's probably a good site to go hit.
It's hot. You got first thing in the morning, you only have a stand from maybe 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock or 8:30, and it's done.
Coyote tracks go in both directions. That's a good sign when you get out of the truck. Coyote tracks right there in the sand.
Then when I go in there, I want to go and get as close as I can, usually around 500 yards. If you get them to answer the siren at nighttime, they're usually going to answer the siren in the day. If they answer the locator at nighttime, they're usually going to answer the locator during the day.
The dogs, you'll see them there, they'll just stop breathing. They'll be breathing and panting, and all of a sudden they'll just hold their breath because they're listening to see where those coyotes are at. Hopefully they answer you. When they answer you, the decoy dogs will hear them. They'll go out there and confront the coyotes. They're on their turf. So what's happening is these coyotes are ticked off. They don't want those dogs there. I mean, they're gonna bark, they're gonna challenge Hal, they're gonna go in there and nip them in the butt, they're gonna chase them off.
It can be a total Chinese fire drill out there. You got decoy dogs going one way, coyotes going another. When those coyotes bark at those dogs, and those dogs start, that's when I call it working.
And they just start working back and forth, and the coyote will start to come. And sometimes the coyote will just quit coming and want to go back to the den. But when your dog gets to understand what's going on, he'll go back to that coyote and he'll chase it back and forth. At least that's what he's supposed to do.
Here's the key. The dogs know where the shooter's at. The coyotes don't. So those dogs are gonna bring those coyotes back right to you, and that coyote has no clue that you're sitting there 80 or 90 yards away from them.
In theory, that's the way it's supposed to work. It doesn't always work that way, but when it does, it's probably the most exciting coyote hunting you can ever do.
When your dogs get into the dens, the coyotes are going to protect it.
These dogs are White Mountain Curs. Versatile breed. They got good noses, good dispositions, but they're also kind of tough guys. I was asking Keith what he does to train these dogs, and he just says, use them, get them out of the box, get them out of the kennel, and take them out coyote hunting. That's the only way you're going to make these dogs better.
It takes a lot of work. You have to hunt a lot.
It's so unique. You'll get reactions from coyotes that you'll never see doing anything else.
A lot of people think that it's no good hunting them in the summertime because the fur's no good, but in the summertime is when the deer have fawns, and it's important to be out there.
The last morning we head out. We're going to a place where Al said, man, I got coyotes here. I know where they're at. They're in this patch of sage. I know where they're at.
Last morning, we got coyotes right here. You located these ones here. Yeah, this is money. We're gonna get right here. Let's see if we can't get the dogs right on them. I'll sit right here. We can get to that sage.
Setup was perfect. And Keith hits the siren. Keith hits the siren, these pups start howling. I'm like, Al's telling Keith, we hear him, shut the call off, shut the call off. He shuts it off, we hear the tail end of it.
The pups are out there. Look at him, you're right, Ab.
And it looks like they were sitting on a den.
That den's gotta be right there.
Gotta be right in there somewhere. We both look at each other like, wonder where Mommy and Daddy are at. Because things are about ready to get crazy here in a second.
Boy, it didn't take long. The adults come to some coyote pup distress. We start barking at them, we start howling at them.
There's a coyote coming right over the knob right there.
And she sets down on her butt.
Dogs are going to her.
The dogs are on them, guys. They're running good. It's gonna happen.
Right behind them, they're bringing them in.
The dogs are chasing up over the hill right now.
You want them to move up? Ab, he wants you to move up to that sage.
Keith says, man, you guys ought to get down to the edge of that sagebrush and make it happen.
We run down there through this bottom. Get down the other side of the sage and I find some shade, back up inside it. As soon as I sat down, I'm barely catching my breath. Here comes the dogs up over the hill.
There it comes. I'm gonna take it right there. Got her, she's down right there. Her down in Utah. Yeah. We had to get out here to the sage. We actually ran up here probably, 200 yards to cut the distance in half because the coyotes would have had to come so far. The shadow's here, so we blended in perfectly. The dogs brought them right back. I just whistled out and let them know that I was right here. Brought that coyote right to us. That was perfect. And I got my first Utah coyote right there.
That's worth walking out here, wasn't it?
Yeah, thanks, man.
That was about the prettiest thing I've ever seen, is that coyote coming over that hill following those dogs right to you.
This morning's hunt was the creme de la creme, the coup de grace. This morning's hunt was perfect in every way.
We killed this one and there was 4 other adults right here, so there's a lot of help with this community. Don't think just because you kill one of the coyotes that these pups are in trouble. The rest of these coyotes are gonna grow them, ain't they?
You can do your best on them, but those coyotes they will live.
They'll live just fine. We've got 2 coyotes both the last 2 mornings. It kind of took us a day or 2 to dial in on them, but we got her done, Keith West.
That was fun.
It was excellent fun.
It was awesome.
You got some awesome dogs. Yeah, Freebie's a good dog, and Ruger's still out hunting, so.
Yeah, she ain't gonna quit it.
No, she's not gonna quit. She knows there's a pile of coyotes in here. Well, they don't look for much. They got all that ratty hair. They're transitioning from their winter coats. They're going to be really sleek in their summer coats the rest of June and July. But now's the time. If you want to harvest these coyotes and do some good for the fawns, the calves, you know, the fawn antelope, the fawn deer, the calf elk, sage grouse, turkeys, pheasants, quail, now's the time to get out and harvest these coyotes. So yeah, the hides aren't good. Some guys that like to hunt for hides, they're selfish. I like to hunt coyotes 365 days a year. I'm selfish. Don't bag on somebody just because they don't hunt coyotes for the same reasons you do. It's important to do management on these coyotes. But Ruger's a good dog, yeah.
You know, it doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens right, it's worth it.
What are you waiting on? Get out here. That's all I'm telling you. Rock.